The Kralix armada had burned 14 worlds in as many cycles. Their bioships, pulsing with sickly green luminescence, moved through the outer rim like locusts, consuming, destroying, moving on. No species had stopped them. The Coalition had tried. The Zanari Empire had tried. Both had fallen. On the bridge of the Kralix flagship Devourer, Commander Vexthal watched another planet die. His chitinous mandibles clicked in satisfaction as atmospheric fires painted the viewport orange. This world, designation Kepler 4482b, had held 3 billion souls 6 hours ago. Now it held ash. "Commander," his sensor officer hissed, compound eyes flickering. Detecting a spatial anomaly. Grid Sector 77 Alpha. Vexthal's attention sharpened. "Reinforcements from the survivors?" "Negative, sir. The signature is unknown. Mass displacement suggests something enormous." Space tore open. The rift wasn't elegant like Zanari jump gates or smooth like Coalition warp bubbles. It was violent, a wound in reality that bled blue-white energy. What emerged made Vexthal's blood chill despite 200 victories behind him. The human warship Indomitable measured 4 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull was scarred titanium and carbon weave, bristling with weapon emplacements that spoke of a civilization that had perfected the art of war. It didn't glide gracefully like the ships of the elder races. It moved with purpose, with barely contained fury. "Full scan," Vexthal ordered, his voice steady despite his racing hearts. "Identify species and threat level." The pause before his officer responded lasted too long. "Sir, records indicate this is a human vessel, from the Sol system." Laughter rippled through the bridge. Humans. The young species that had barely reached the stars a century ago. The ones who fought with chemical propellants and nuclear fission, while others wielded plasma and antimatter. How quaint, Vexthal mused. They send their primitives to die for nothing. Hail them. Let them surrender or be destroyed. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Kiza Okonkwo stood with her arms crossed, dark eyes fixed on the Kralix formation ahead. At 32, she was young for a capital ship commander. But Earth's unified defense force didn't promote based on age. They promoted survivors. "They're hailing us, Captain," her communications officer reported. Audio only. "Put it through." The translator rendered the Kralix commander's words in flat, emotionless English. "Human vessel, you have entered a war zone. Withdraw immediately or face annihilation. Your species is unknown to us, but we have destroyed 14 civilizations in this sector alone. We will not hesitate to make it 15. Kiza's jaw tightened. She glanced at her tactical officer, Lieutenant Nick Reeves, a sharp-eyed man who'd grown up in the Belt colonies. He met her gaze and gave the slightest nod. "Open channel," Kiza commanded. She stepped forward, her voice cold and clear. "Kralix Commander, this is Captain Kiza Okonkwo of the UDEF Indomitable. We have monitored your assault on 14 inhabited worlds. You have killed over 40 billion sentient beings. By authority of the Terran Council and in defense of all civilized life, we are here to end you." The line crackled with what might have been laughter. "One ship," the alien replied. "You sent one ship against an armada of 300. Your species is either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. We're human," Kiza said quietly. "We're both." She cut the channel and turned to Nick. "Tactical status?" Nick's fingers danced across his console, pulling up the battle grid. "All weapon systems nominal. Railguns loaded, missiles armed, point defense grid active. They're moving to surround us, classic envelopment pattern." "Let them think they have us." Kiza settled into her command chair. "Helm, all stop. Lower forward shields to 30%. Her bridge crew tensed but obeyed. Years of training had taught them to trust their captain's instincts, even when those instincts seemed suicidal. The Kralix took the bait. 300 bioships surged forward, their plasma cannons charging with green hellfire. They moved in a coordinated swarm, certain of their victory as they'd been certain of it 14 times before. "Wait for it," Kiza murmured, watching the range close. "Wait." Nick's knuckles were white on his console. 1,500 kilometers? 1,000. 500. Now. What the Kralix didn't understand, what none of the younger races could comprehend, was that humans had spent 10,000 years perfecting warfare on a single death world. They'd invented 100 ways to kill before they'd invented the wheel. They'd split the atom not for power but for weapons, And when they'd finally reached the stars, they'd brought that legacy with them. The Indomitable didn't just carry weapons. It was a weapon. The ship's main spinal railgun fired first. A tungsten carbide rod accelerated to 0.3 C that punched through 12 Kralix ships before its kinetic energy dissipated. Then the missile pods opened and 300 fusion-tipped warheads painted space with artificial suns. The point defense network activated, a web of laser fire that carved through the swarm like a scythe through wheat. But it was the secret weapon that truly broke them. "Activate Dawn Protocol," Kiza ordered. Nick's fingers flew. "Dawn Protocol active. Deploying now." From the Indomitable's hull, 1,000 small objects launched, each no bigger than a basketball, each containing humanity's gift to the galaxy. Nano-weapon swarms. They were self-replicating, adaptive, and utterly merciless. Within seconds, they'd infiltrated the Kralix bioships, rewriting organic systems at the molecular level. The enemy vessels began to tear themselves apart from the inside. Vexthal watched his armada die in minutes. His mandibles chattered in disbelief as ship after ship went dark, as his proud swarm was reduced to debris and biological matter drifting in the void. "Impossible," he whispered. "One ship. One ship." The human captain's voice filled his bridge once more. "Commander Vexthal, your flagship is the only vessel we've left intact. We're sending this recording to every species in the sector. Let it be known. Humanity will not tolerate genocide. We were forged in fire, born in blood, and we have turned warfare into science. Test us again, and we will show you why Earth's most enduring export has always been violence." The transmission ended. The Indomitable opened another rift and vanished, leaving Vexthal alone among the wreckage of his invincible armada. And across the galaxy, civilizations learned a new truth. Humans were not primitives. They were survivors of a harsh world who'd brought their brutality to the stars. And they were just getting started. And